There are classes where they do take attendance. Any kind of small class where participation is in fact a major part of what you're doing, and if you miss too many, then it can affect your grade. It's your responsibility, and the instructor is going to expect you to come and do the things that you need to do to be a part of the class. So you may get an email notice saying you've missed too many classes, and if you get one of those notices, then you need to pay attention to that. You need to talk to your advisor, but more importantly, you do need to go to the class. So it varies a great deal. One of the things you should be paying a close attention to is right at the beginning of the class, you will have a syllabus, either a paper syllabus or an online syllabus, which is kind of the roadmap of the entire semester, and the professor will make very clear in that syllabus what his or her expectations are, and you need to be aware that you're responsible for knowing that and acting accordingly.
I might just add also that even with the large lecture courses, there often will be a recitation associated with them, and attendance may be taken in those weekly recitations. So you really have to be certain that, if you're not going to go to class, you have to be certain that attendance actually is not required in some component of the class. I also might just say that, ultimately, even in these large lecture courses, the responsibility for you is to learn the information, and going to class, is often a good way to learn the information. You're going over it's another way for you to hear the problems, go through the problems. So even in large lectures, where you might think, well, everything's available online anyway, why do I have to show up to class? The opportunity to hear someone else walk you through problems or formulas or a concept, was probably beneficial.
And if the real issue is that you feel like I'm not learning very much because it's a big lecture and that's not my favorite way to learn, and you know what? Weingart Learning Resource Center has a really good workshop on how do you deal with those big lecture classes? How do you take notes? How do you make meaningful connections between those and maybe the lab part or the recitations? And those are skills you need to figure out to get the most out of your experience here at Penn. I will say that most faculty, if you get your schedule organized in the beginning of the semester, know what your travel schedule looks like if you're an athlete, or I've had students who had various other performance or other complications. They could say ahead of time what was going on. If it can be accommodated within the class and you are willing to do whatever the makeup work is that the professor would ask you to do, then sometimes it can be worked out. But there is no generalized excused absence that you might have had in high school, for example. That doesn't exist here at Penn.
If you're going to miss 5 consecutive days or less of class at any point during the semester, notify the instructor as soon as possible using the course absence report function of Penn in Touch. If you're going to miss or anticipate missing more than 5 consecutive days of class, contact the college office and ask for the CaseNet group as soon as possible.